Hey, Raiders Nation, it's time to dive deep into everything happening with our Las Vegas Raiders as we get ready for what could be one of the most crucial games of the season. Right now, the AFC West looks wide open, more than it has in years, and the Raiders are in that position where every game matters. Last season, the team made it all the way to the NFC Championship, showing flashes of brilliance, and now the goal is to return to that stage. The drive, the hunger, it's all there, and this team knows that to get back to that level, they have to bring it every single week. The Raiders aren't just trying to scrape by. They want to dominate, and the opportunity is in front of them. The quarterback situation is the biggest question mark heading into this matchup. Geno Smith is under the microscope, and everyone, from fans to analysts, is watching how he responds after a rough start. Last week's performance left a lot to be desired with interceptions and missed opportunities, but there were also moments that showcased his arm strength and field vision. Against the Commanders, this is going to be a test not just of skill, but of mental toughness. They've allowed over 200 passing yards per game so far, ranking somewhere in the middle of the league, so there's a real chance for the Raiders to exploit weaknesses if they play smart and stick to what's working. The key will be taking what the defense gives you. If it's a short completion, take it. Don't force the ball into tight windows on critical downs because turnovers can swing momentum instantly. On the ground, the running game is something the Raiders need to establish early. Ashton Gentry has shown glimpses of what he can do, and he's been a crucial part of the offense. But right now he's averaging just under 3 yards per carry, which isn't enough to consistently keep defenses honest. If the Raiders can push the ball on the ground, it opens up so many other opportunities in the passing game. The Commanders' defense against the run has been middle of the pack, so there's a chance to dominate up front if the offensive line steps up. Zamir White looked promising in preseason, but the priority has to be consistency and execution from Gentry, especially in early downs, to set the tone for the game. When it comes to the wide receivers, Jacoby Myers continues to be Geno Smith's primary target. He's proven reliable and capable of picking up crucial first downs. Much like similar setups in other teams' offensive schemes where the quarterback relies heavily on a dependable receiver to keep drives alive. If Brock Bowers isn't at full health, the passing game might skew even more toward Jacoby, making him the focus of defensive coverage. Beyond Jacoby, though, there's a lot of potential with guys like Dante Thornton and Trey Tucker, especially on intermediate routes. Consistency here will be critical because the Commanders have been giving up a fair number of yards to receivers this season, and taking advantage of those openings could make the difference in a close game. The tight end position is another area where the Raiders can make significant gains. Brock Bowers has seen most of the snaps when healthy, and in 12 personnel packages, he's a mismatch waiting to happen in the red zone. Michael Mayer also brings another option to challenge the linebackers and secondary. The Raiders have to exploit the defensive coverage tendencies here, particularly against a team that struggles to defend tight ends effectively. The key is going to be smart play calling, using personnel strategically, and getting those matchups where the Raiders can create separation and gain easy yards, especially in scoring situations. On the offensive line, Colton Miller remains a cornerstone of the team. His pass blocking has been among the best in the league, and without him, the protection scheme could collapse. If Jackson Powers-Johnson is healthy at center and the rest of the line holds up, there's a real chance to neutralize the Commanders' pass rush. Right now, their sack numbers are mediocre, but schemes can be deceptive. They tend to attack the left side and force runs to the right, trying to exploit weaknesses in the interior. That means the Raiders' line has to communicate and stay disciplined. Establishing the run will help open up the passing game, and the line's ability to hold their blocks could dictate the pace and success of the offense throughout the game. Defensively, the Raiders have been the backbone of keeping games close so far this season. Holding the Chargers to 20 points and limiting New England to just 13 in earlier matchups shows that when the defense is disciplined and executing, the team can compete against top competition. Max Crosby has to elevate his game. He's a key playmaker, and his ability to generate pressure can shift momentum instantly. Defensive tackles like Thomas Booker and Lecky Fu have been consistent in getting after the quarterback, and that pressure is crucial against a team like the Commanders, who rely on short, precise passes when under duress. Containing running quarterbacks and limiting rushing lanes will also be vital because if Marcus Mariota or any other quarterback starts gaining confidence on the ground, it opens up passing lanes that could hurt the Raiders. Linebackers Devin White, Jermaine Pratt, and Jamal Adams have been standout performers. Jamal Adams, in particular, has been asserting his presence, showing intensity and leadership that energizes the defense. Tackling fundamentals, maintaining gap integrity, and securing checkdowns are essential because the Commanders will try to exploit any weakness in the middle of the field. Missed tackles and blown assignments could quickly turn into big plays, so the Raiders need discipline and focus from the first snap to the last. Cornerbacks will also play a significant role. Matchups against the Commanders' top receivers are going to dictate defensive adjustments. Eric Stokes, as the more physical corner, is likely to handle the top target, while others like Kai Blue Kelly could manage secondary assignments. The safeties must stay disciplined against deep threats while reading the quarterback and reacting quickly. Preventing explosive plays will be critical to keep the Raiders in a position to win. Special teams are another piece that can't be overlooked. Daniel Carlson has been reliable on field goals, and positioning on kickoffs and punts could influence field position battles, which are always crucial in close games. The Raiders are stepping into this matchup as underdogs, and that's a position that can motivate and ignite the team. Underdogs have the freedom to play without the weight of expectation, and that mentality can create opportunities to execute plays with energy and aggression. Discipline on offense, precision on defense, and attention to detail on special teams. All of these aspects will contribute to whether the Raiders can walk away with a win. Every yard counts, every play matters, and the team knows that this is a chance to assert themselves and send a statement not just to the division, but across the league. Now, shifting our focus to the defensive side of the football, this is where the Raiders have consistently kept themselves in games so far this season. The defense has been the backbone. The reason the team hasn't been blown out, and the reason they've had opportunities to win games even when the offense struggled. Patrick Graham has done an outstanding job scheming and making halftime adjustments that completely alter the flow of the game. Against the Chargers in New England, the Raiders showed that when they stick to fundamentals, communicate effectively, and trust their assignments, they can neutralize some of the league's best offensive threats. The key going forward is to maintain that discipline while also bringing enough pressure to force mistakes from quarterbacks, particularly someone like Marcus Mariota, who thrives on rhythm and confidence. The defensive line has to set the tone early. Max Crosby, despite some critics and questions about his consistency this season, has to step up and remind everyone why he's considered one of the premier edge rushers in the league. The interior defensive line, with Thomas Booker leading the charge, has been solid at generating pressure up the middle, disrupting timing for quarterbacks, and closing running lanes. Lecky Fu and Adam Butler complement that interior strength, but it's not just about raw power. It's about leverage, gap integrity, and awareness. If the Raiders can control the line of scrimmage, force Mariota or Daniels into uncomfortable throws, and make them rely on checkdowns, that's where this defense thrives. They can create turnovers, set up short fields for the offense, and dominate the tempo of the game. Linebackers have been a bright spot. Devin White has been reliable, filling gaps, tracking running backs, and staying disciplined in coverage. Jermaine Pratt has been active, moving sideline to sideline, and making tackles at critical moments. Jamal Adams continues to impress, showing that he's not just a playmaker, but a leader on the field. His ability to anticipate plays, close on the ball quickly, and deliver decisive tackles sets the tone for the rest of the defense. Alanon Roberts has been inconsistent, and he'll need to tighten up his assignments, especially on checkdowns and quarterback runs, because the Commanders will test the middle aggressively. This game will see a lot of short passes, rollouts, and quarterback designed runs, so every linebacker has to stay square, wrap up tackles, and avoid giving up extra yards after contact. Cornerbacks are going to have a huge task. Eric Stokes has the physicality to match up with top-tier receivers and limit explosive plays, but every matchup matters. Kai Blue Kelly will have to stay disciplined and communicate effectively with the safeties to ensure that any deep threats are accounted for. The Raiders need to prevent big gains over the top, while also containing the underneath routes that Mariota is likely to exploit. The safeties are equally important, as they'll need to provide support against both the deep ball and intermediate passes. Preventing big plays, reading the quarterback, and reacting quickly are non-negotiable if the Raiders want to shut down the Commanders' passing game. Speaking of Mariota, the challenge lies in his dual-threat capability. If he decides to run more, it becomes a chess match for the defense. The Raiders must maintain gap discipline, contain the edges, and force him into uncomfortable situations where he has to rely on his arm rather than his legs. Limiting his running lanes is critical, because a quarterback like Mariota gaining confidence on the ground opens up passing lanes that can quickly swing momentum against the Raiders. Defensive tackles and ends must stay disciplined, pursue the quarterback relentlessly, and maintain gap integrity, while the linebackers are responsible for both coverage and run support. It's a delicate balance, and any breakdown can lead to explosive plays. Special teams can't be overlooked in a game like this. Daniel Carlson has been reliable on field goals and long-distance attempts, and his consistency will be critical if the game comes down to points on the board. Kickoff and punt coverage also have to be crisp because field position can determine momentum. The Raiders need to flip the field whenever possible, force the Commanders to start drives deep in their own territory, and maintain composure on returns. Every yard matters, and any lapse in focus could be costly in a game that is likely to be competitive and low-scoring. Pressure on the quarterback is one of the most effective ways to win. The Raiders have shown they can collapse the pocket and disrupt timing when they execute properly. Max Crosby, Thomas Booker, and the rest of the defensive front need to generate consistent pressure without relying solely on blitzes. Disguise coverage, stunts along the defensive line, and smart gap control are all part of the equation. If the Raiders can keep the quarterback uncomfortable, force hurried throws, and capitalize on mistakes, it completely changes the complexion of the game. The Raiders' defense has also been excellent in second-half adjustments. They've demonstrated that when a game starts to slip, they can adapt quickly, neutralize key threats, and keep the team in a position to win. That adaptability is a hallmark of a strong defense, and it's something that will be tested again against the Commanders. Every player, from the linemen to the safeties, must be alert, understand the offensive tendencies, and execute their assignments to perfection. Finally, tackling fundamentals will be crucial. Checkdowns, quarterback runs, and wide receiver screens all need to be contained. Missed tackles can turn a routine play into a big gain, and with a dual-threat quarterback in Mariota, every assignment matters. Linebackers must wrap up, corners must stay disciplined, and safeties have to provide over-the-top support. If the Raiders can maintain that level of execution, stay disciplined, and generate pressure at the right moments, their defense will give the offense every opportunity to control the game and secure a win. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The rumor mill is swirling in Las Vegas, and it has Raiders fans on the edge of their seats. Sources suggest that Josh Jacobs could be making a triumphant return to the Raiders, stepping back into the role of the team's undisputed RB1. The running back, whose blend of power, agility, and vision has made him a consistent threat since entering the league, is reportedly in advanced talks with the Silver and Black, and insiders are already speculating about the impact his return could have on the team's offensive dynamics. Jacobs' previous stint with the Raiders left an indelible mark. He has been known for grinding out tough yard between the tackles, shrugging off defenders, and making explosive plays that energize both fans and teammates. The whispers in the league suggest that his leadership in the locker room could be just as valuable as his on-field contributions, particularly for a Raiders squad looking to reassert itself in a highly competitive division. While no official announcement has been made, excitement is palpable. Social media has erupted with speculation, with fans dissecting every potential scenario and imagining what an offense led by Jacobs could look like. Would he be the centerpiece of a revamped rushing attack? Could he mentor younger backs in a way that strengthens the team's depth chart? The possibilities are tantalizing. Of course, there are questions too. How will the Raiders integrate JACOBS into an offense that has seen several changes since his departure? Can the offensive line provide the same level of support he thrived behind in the past? And perhaps most importantly, is JACOBS ready to return to the grind week after week, chasing yardage and touchdowns for a franchise that desperately wants to make noise in the postseason? One thing is certain. The buzz surrounding Josh Jacobs' potential return is impossible to ignore. For now, fans can only watch, speculate, and hope that the rumor mill is right. If it is, Las Vegas might just be about to witness the resurgence of one of the most dynamic running backs in the NFL today. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.